All right, let me go back to sharing. So I want to make sure that we're clear here. I want to make sure that we're understanding exactly what goes into putting together a clear piece of writing. Thesis construction. Remembering it's the last sentence in your introduction. There's some of you that want to put your thesis sentence in the very beginning of your introduction. That's not where it needs to be. Okay, it needs to be the last sentence of your intro, so the reader knows exactly where to go into your paper. And again, we're still having MLA formatting issues. Gang, that you're losing points very easily for that. I have shared with you multiple times what the first page of your paper should look like. Some of you are misspelling my name. Some of you are not putting your name at the top of the page number. Some of you are getting the date incorrect. Make sure you're not doing that. Those are easy points that you're losing. So I just want to make sure that I'm going over that. And then this is the same thing I shared earlier. Edit, proofread, get to ask the writing center or ask me along the way. Okay, so just make sure if I'm putting any kind of comment on your paper, that's the ball's in your court to figure out, okay, Dr. McDonald says I have a lot of comma issues here, then I need to fix it. Or Dr. McDonald says my sentences don't make sense. Then guess what? You have to fix it. So I just want to make sure we are clear. We're understanding why you lose points the way you lose them. So we're all on the same page. I also want to point out to those folks who are doing an outstanding job. There are many of you who are turning in A papers, getting 100%. That's outstanding. That's great work. So not all of us need that help in grammar and mechanics. So just know that I recognize the folks out there that's doing good work. So before we get into our cartoon, before we get into kind of the meat of kind of our work, I shared our syllabus updates Tuesday of where our due dates have changed. I want to make sure we all have that. Did you all get did you all go back and look at the updated syllabus? Jordan says yes. Brandy says yes. Okay, great. Those dates right now are going to be pretty firm because we're getting closer and closer to the end of the semester. I did hear from students that said they needed more time to work on the media analysis paper. So I'm gonna ask the whole group here, where are you on that paper? Do you need extra class time to get that paper done? Do you need an extra class time to finish it? Because I'm happy to move on. I'm happy to say no. Sorry,
I could use some extra class time.
Who said that?
I could too, Professor McDonald, and if I could also have a conversation with you about my argumentative essay.
Yeah, sure. Anyone else have a commentary?
I think I could use more time to get everything together. Mine is a video, it's pretty long, so I'm still trying to get like my parts together.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is, and the emails I got from students, you need some more class time to finish your paper, to get that together. London, I hear you. Okay, here's how this is going to work. I give you class time, but it's got to be done. Okay, we have a lot of other stuff we have to get through this semester. So if I'm giving up class time today, please know that class time will not be given up going forward. Okay. All right, let me go through what I need to go through. Let me go back and share. Oops, that's not what I want to share. Something that I want us to talk about. Okay, can you all see this? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so you see this man is on the phone and there's people in the background. And then it says, just because they all work from home now doesn't mean I still don't keep my eye on them. So I need to see if I can shrink this a little bit. Let's go a little further. Can we all still see that? We see these people here. So what I'm going to ask you to do is probably for 10 or 15 minutes. Let's say 10 minutes, because I want to give you most of the time back to work. The question is, how does this cartoon fit into our previous conversations regarding argumentative writing? Just because they all work from home now doesn't mean I still can't keep my eye on them. This goes back to our COVID days when all of us were working from home. And what does that mean? What does this cartoon mean in terms of argumentative writing, in terms of if you were going to choose this to write an argument on, what would your argument be? What would your argument be? So I want you to think about that. We're going to come back and have a conversation at 5:35, and I want us to think through this and maybe have a conversation about why I chose this. Okay? Do I need to email this to you? Would that work? Because I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Yeah, you can email it.
Email will be great. Okay, good. Yep, I'll do that. Okay, so I will do that, and we'll come back at 5:35. Okay? Okay, we're going to come back and let's talk about this cartoon. I'm going to share my screen again. I'm going to ask you to unmute. And let's do this again here. Here we go. That's not what I wanted. Somebody, if you can mute your mic, that'd be great. Oops. Thank you for that. Okay. Here we go. So I'm sharing my screen again, and you have a copy of that in your email. So unmute and tell me kind of what's going on in this picture.
I felt like it was like saying more of a micromanaging.
Got it. Yes.
Thing.
Yeah, and the whole idea of just because we're working from home doesn't mean we're not working, because we could be working in the office and still not be working, correct? Thank you for that, London. Someone else, share.
I feel like it was saying, sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. Go ahead.
Good.
I feel like it's saying employees can still be followed and monitored and make sure they're doing what's required.
Correct. Colin?
Oh, I kind of went similar to, I guess, what London was suggesting with the micromanaging, but I consider this more of a substantial invasion of privacy.
Yeah.
That's
okay. That's fair.
Right where I went.
That's fair. Raquel?
I feel like the cartoon is also speaking towards people wanting to work and be more independent rather than having distractions around them.
Okay. So let's take it to the next level. Let's take it to what would you do about argumentative writing? How would you connect it to argumentative writing? An argument would be what?
I think one of the points even that you made about how like just because people work from home doesn't mean that they're not working.
Okay. Fair. Thank you for that. Someone else?
I think I have two sentences, but one of them is basically that it can maybe be saying that most jobs or a lot of jobs can be done from home, while still having like the surveillance, whatever is needed, like depending on the job, while still being at home.
Got it.
So I actually feel like I actually agree with what Colin said about the evasion of privacy. I would definitely take it that route, because to have a camera on you at all times while you're working at home is completely that's just insane.
Agree. So I think what I would do if I were looking at if this were a piece of media that I was going to write about, I would sort of go from the angle of I like the privacy issue. I also like the issue of I can be more productive working at home than I could be in the office. And I found that out with COVID, with my own self. That I was up at 6:30, 7 o'clock on the computer, working, rarely took lunch. But also I could run my dishwasher, I could do a little laundry. I was incredibly productive on all kinds of levels, not just professionally. And I think that's what happened with a lot of folks who were working from home. They didn't have that balance. And some people thought they weren't being productive. I was incredibly productive. And what I did, my supervisor didn't tell me to do this, but I kept a Google log of everything I did every day. So if someone came back and said, "Hey, Dr. McDonald, what were you doing on April the 5th?" I had it. And I had documentation and I had evidence of what I was doing. No one ever asked for that. No one ever wanted to know that. But I kind of felt like if I'm home, still making the same wage I'm making, people are going to start to question, what are you doing all day? So I used that cartoon. I didn't use it last semester. I kind of like that because I think it gives us a conversation of here's kind of a clear topic, working at home or working in the office, working or working asynchronously. And then what does that mean in terms of how are you productive? So I'm glad we had that conversation. What I want to make sure that we're doing now, and I want to go back to, let me go back to another document that I want us to talk about kind of briefly. I always do this with my students. To say, okay, at the midpoint of the semester, how has English 102 treated you? And there can be a class discussion about this. You can have a discussion within your own, with you yourself and without sharing with anybody. But some of the things that I think are incredibly important is difficulty of our assignments, engagement, course setup, meaning are you set up for success, in-class time for writing, and communicating. So I have those 5 topics there. If there's something that I need to work on, if there's something that I need to do better of, then you need to let me know. And again, no need for us to have a conversation about it unless someone wants to share. But I want to make sure, because again, the semester is going to get a little tighter and a little more dense when you start working on your final paper. So I just want to make sure that we're understanding kind of where we are and what is there, if there's anything I can do differently, I'm happy to entertain that. So again, looking back on our halfway point of our semester, these are the 5 things that I think are important. And if anyone wants to share anything, you may share. Not necessary. Okay, great. So that's going to give you about an hour of writing time. We will come back at 6:45. I will be here to answer any questions you might have, but I'm not going to entertain any academic argument questions right now. This is during class. I will have those conversations with you after class. So you have an hour to write. Because many of you have said you needed time to do that with my assistance here. So I'm going to give you that time. I'm going to be right here in front of the computer if you need me. You have my phone number, but we will come back at 6:45. Okay? Any questions? All right. You know how to get me if you need me.